whatever you're interested in, an atom, or in this case, a molecule. For a molecule, it's complicated. Why? Because you've got all these electrons with all their different positions, you've got all these nuclei with all their different positions. It's a really complicated equation to try to solve. So Oppenheimer and Born, they said, well, okay, this is too hard. We can't possibly handle this way. So they came up with a really clever...
You're right. I forgot to turn off the lights.
But yeah, again, I would call him a charlatan. I'd have to leave it at that.
I would be a little bit more charitable than that. I think that some of what he was saying, he genuinely believed. I think that...
I'll give him that. I agree with you. I suspect he did believe most of what he said. Sorry.
So I feel like the term
Alright,
charlatan is... I mean, if he wanted to actually maximise on what he was doing...
Main to force adolescents to spend the bulk of their time studying subjects that most of them hate. When skilled workers are put out of a job by technical advances and have to undergo retraining, no one asks whether it is humiliating for them to be pushed around in this way. It is simply taken for granted that everyone must bow to technical necessity. And for good reason. If human needs were put before technical necessity...
Tentatively, it has been dated to around 1200 BC. Mount Ebal in Deuteronomy is known as a place, they say, to put the curse upon Mount Ebal. Apparently they meant that very literally because there is a curse tablet on Mount Ebal. And it's been dated, tentatively, to 1200 BC. Now, the dating for the Exodus itself is kind of contentious. There's anything ranging from 1600 BC up through 1200 BC up to it never actually even happened. That last one is kind of out the window. There's almost no way that this didn't happen. But what there is a way that happened is that when Jacob went into Egypt, he brought only 70 souls with him. So Jacob, whose name is also Israel, goes into Egypt with 70 souls. And over the course of the 400 years that they are afflicted in Egypt, as was prophesied to Abraham, they multiply, but they're not going to be that much if we assume
Tasmania, New Zealand, and Australia. At one point, there existed large populations of them across the continent, but the last known member of the species died in the 1930s. They were a pretty weird creature. They kind of looked like a sort of Wolverine dog thing, but they were marsupial, and they had like the marsupial pouch. They could also open their jaws like really wide, near 90 degrees. The reason that the thylacines on this iceberg is because it's an example of a weird and unique species that died out in the past.
That isn't him being a narrator. That is just the story. The narrator is supposed to give you the point of view. Like, in that point, you're not doing an unreliable narrator, you're doing a false memory of a character. The narrator is supposed to be the one giving you information. And in the case of the Has Been Hotel, that's exactly...
Alright, that was pretty good shot. Oh, okay. I'm actually hitting shit today.